Hey traders, BA here, and I would like to thank you for your recent purchase of the indicator set. It's the first little package I've put together because I think it's the simplest, easiest to follow, and if it fits your method, it's you don't need anything other than that to generate trades off of for long, short trades. So, but what I'd like to do today is just take a few moments and kind of walk you through how I set the charts up and what I'm looking for and what this indicator set actually does for you. So without any further ado, let's get right to it. Alright, so first thing we have is this is kind of how I have my analysis template set up. It is in TOS, if you go to the flexible grid, you'll get several options for how to set up your charts. And you can, let's see, you have all kinds of ways you can configure this. Just go to flexible grid and try to set your program up like your analysis template up like this right here. I'm not going to go into how to do that on this right here, but I have my daily time frame on the big chart, an hourly time frame here, and a 15-minute there. And once I have this set up, you can go up here to set up and save this workspace. But it'll always open back up to this. Once you're working in this, Thinkorswim will always revert back to these templates that you set up. So let's go ahead and start walking through. The first thing I'm going to do is concentrate on the daily time frame. It's the longer time frame, and try to get you to understand how I look at opportunities or how opportunities emerge from this indicator set. And guys, there's nothing magic about any indicator set that you have. All this does is just put context around market movements, and hopefully it's built for the way I like to look at the markets. It may not work for other people, it works for me, but you have to have something that you can relate to. And after 35 plus years of doing this, this is one of the ways I carve out, identify opportunity, and trade it. All right, so first thing I want to do is, we've already got it up here, but we want to load up the TS statistical range that I sent you guys, and that's showing right there. This has a couple of things that I want to point out. First thing is the average percentage move from high to low for a given underlying giving stock in this case. So right now, NVIDIA, you'll see up here in the window, and also make sure you link everything with the color codes. Those, I've got it to lilac, it's just the last one I go to. So all your charts, make sure everything in Thinkorswim is linked, color coded. That way you click one time and whatever stock you're looking at is populated throughout the platform, and you don't have to punch it in. This thing was built, Thinkorswim was built 9-10 years ago, whenever it was, so that it would be a point and click platform and you'd have to type as little as possible. Alright, so now we have the statistical range up. I only want to trade stocks that average above 3% a day. That's it. That's all I want to look at. There's a big universe of stocks that trade like that, but that's all you want to do is just stay in stocks that move that much a day. All right, the other neat feature, I'm going to thumb through here, see if I can find a stock, is let's see. I'm just going through stocks here. Oh, beautiful. This one fits it perfect. Okay, I put an alert out on Verizon. I'm probably going to enter that one Monday. This thing is just screaming to go higher. If I'd have seen this Friday afternoon, I'd have went ahead and put a position on. You can see my alert set right here, but what I wanted to point out is this these other two little labels that flashed up, NR7 and an inside day. All right, this thing is built. I can't scan for these because it's a custom indicator. TOS won't let me do that on custom indicators. But I could have a scan built for it, just I haven't done it. All right, so NR7 means that this bar right here is the narrowest range over the last 7 days, and that's statistically significant. That means this thing is just coiling up, and whenever things coil up, they have got to uncoil. And Verizon's going to uncoil. My bet is it's going to uncoil to the upside. So that is, when I see NR7 on one of the stocks, now you'll notice here the average range for Verizon is 1.4% a day. Okay, and you're like, okay, you're already violating one of your rules. Well, look at the move that Verizon, I make a couple of exceptions, and Verizon's a 5G play that I'm very interested in. I think it's going to start moving big when the 5G picks up. It's one of the stocks that I'm looking at in the 5G space. So anyway, I just wanted to show you NR7. That's statistically significant. It's coiled very tight. It's like somebody pushing a spring down. At some point in time, somebody's got to let that spring up, and when they do, it's going to uncoil violently to the, who knows which way, upside, downside. My bet here is to the upside on Verizon. An inside day, again, not so statistically significant, but when you see inside day and narrow range 7, those two together are pretty powerful. So this just means that this bar, the high and low, is inside the previous days. Again, another coil. So reasons abound for a potential move up in Verizon. All right, so okay, now we've got that indicator listed. You know how to use that. Let's load some of the studies that the indicators that I give you, so that we can start talking about opportunities. All right, so the first one we're going to load up on here is we're going to load the BAHA cross. Now once you select that, bring it into your, I'm going to go ahead and cancel out just so you can see me bringing it in. Okay, there it is, HA cross. I bring it in. First thing I want to do is go over here, click on the gear. I personally want to, I'm going to leave these moving averages up, and then we're going to come back and adjust them. You may want to leave the averages on there. All this is I won't go into the mechanics of how the indicator's built. These are not normal moving averages, but they, if you don't want to see them on there, then just, I don't like to see them on there. I want to declutter my chart as much as possible. But you can use them for if it helps you put context around the moves, hey, leave them on there. I'm going to take them off. Just show plot, deselect, show plot, deselect, come back down. So now you just have the paint bars. All right, opportunity. When these bars are green, all I'm looking for is entry techniques or entry signals over here on the intraday time frame. I'm looking for bullish trades. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. There are other things you can put on this to help quantify, narrow down your search, but when it's green and I'm bullish like I am in the stock market, I only want to look for bullish trades, right? Like I'm doing right now for Verizon. So so that's all this BAHA cross does. When it's red, hey, you only want to look for down short sales or buying puts. So again, let me draw this just to make sure you understand what I'm looking for. It's still green, but no, come on. Okay, between those white lines right there, I'm looking to place maybe 2, 3, signals in the green side, nice high probability signals, entries over here in the intraday time frame from on the bullish side. That's all I'm looking for. That's telling me it's bullish. So as this thing turns green, I'm constantly looking for entries over here. And if it doesn't work out, I immediately close the trade out, conserve my capital, and wait for another entry signal. Okay, that's all I'm doing right here. Same thing on the short side. You know, as soon as it turned red right here, and you had this entire area right here between those two right there and that down move, you could have easily gotten 2 profitable short trades on in Verizon's. No doubt whatsoever. Now it depends on you on how you define your profit target. I'm looking to take 100% out of a trade or more. You know, there's multiple times where I get 300, 400, 500% moves on these option trades, and but I'm typically taking half of my position off at 100%. Hey, if you're comfortable at a 25% profit target, hey, that's the way you trade. There's no right or wrong answers. You know, just take these indicators and use them. Just concentrate. This allows you to focus. Hey, I'm only focused on momentum short trades. That's what these indicators are for. Number one, they're momentum trades. They're designed to keep, for number two, designed to keep you in the right direction. So that's it. It only takes a second to look at the daily time frame. Oh, candles are red. I'm only looking for put buys over here in the intraday time frame. That is it. Do not make it any harder than that. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to look at 43 different checklist items to get a good entry technique. It is just as simple as what I just described right there. And again, there are no secrets in the market. Everybody thinks there are. There's none. Professionals will tell you that. It's just a matter of law of large numbers, having the edge, and just executing that day in and day out. That's all it is to it. All right, so hopefully you understand about the HA cross, what I'm looking for there. Okay, we covered the statistical thing. Now let's take a look at another, let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA I've been long on for a very long time. We started putting positions on longer term back in here in January, back in December. We put several positions on back in this cluster. But again, I mean, look at what NVIDIA is. If you were just, I mean, look at that. Tell me you can't focus when the bars are red. You only need to focus on put trades, and you can't make money doing that. If you can't make money doing that with this right here, you've got too many things going on inside your mind. You've got to focus on what is important. And the daily's telling you, second, okay, bars are red. I'm only looking for put buys. That's it. We get over here. Oh, and this uptrend right here, hey, when this turns green, I'm only looking for buys. I'm call buying. That's it. Yeah, don't try to guess, oh, I think it's gone up too much, I'm going to try and get. Hey, forget about that. That's stupid. When you're momentum trading, you're not doing. Counter trend trading is different. Now, I do all of it, but you have to have different models to do that. I'm focused here on high probability momentum trades for you, and that's what this setup goes. Hey, I'm still looking for bullish trade setups in NVIDIA right now at these highs. It's still, bars are still green. Okay, we get a pullback and bars are green. I'm still looking for buys in NVIDIA. Okay, that's just how simple it is. And you don't need a lot of stocks to do this with. Just, again, try to keep them above 3% or those in those sectors that we're focused on, like Chinese stocks, 5G stocks, weed stocks, things like that. All right, so again, HA cross, a couple of looks. So let's take a look at another indicator right now that I sent you. All right, so we can go back, deselect that study, All right, so whenever you bring, I'm not going to bring this one in again. You already know how to do that. The BADE leading indicator. It has, what I did do though is I changed all of these. I like seeing these connected symbols, lines. Makes it easier for me to see. So this is what, oh, I do need to need to show study though. Alright, so I'm going to compress the time frame a little bit and show you something. Alright, so the DE leading indicator has several ergodic designed type algorithm indicators on it, which I really like. Now, one thing you'll notice is you got 3 horizontal lines on there. This is part of the range of the DE indicator. So this is kind of this is the 0 range right here in the middle. Has nothing to do with the price. It's not based on the price. It's based on the indicator. So don't think that whenever price crosses above that indicator, that middle line right there, you've got to sell. Don't do that. It's not scaled to price. It's scaled to the indicator. What I've done is I've moved this indicator. Let me show you, because I didn't show you that. When you first bring in DE indicator, it's going to come up in a separate pane down there. This is what it looks like. So you see these 3 lines? That's what, they're not up there anymore. Okay, you see that? The chart's clear. You don't have to have this indicator up there. You can leave it down here if you want, if it doesn't clutter things up for you as much. It's up to you. But here's what I like to see. Okay, this is a perfect one, and we're going to show you on this chart. You see how this is 0 line. This is the -25. This is +25. Okay, when this long-term ergodic, one that's red and green, when it's flat on the bottom and it's below -25, that tells me that the stock is trying to put a bottom in. I don't know where that is, but it's trying to put a bottom in. All right, and what I like to see is I like to see this shorter term bouncing around and possibly hitting a divergence. See how NVIDIA had a lower low here than there, but this indicator was higher. The magenta and white line was higher than back here. So that tells me, hey, we've got a good probability, good prospect for a bottom taking place right now. That's why I was putting trades on back in this area, back in NVIDIA. I thought because of this model here that we were, going to see a moonshot up. And so far, it has. It's worked accordingly. Now, when this thing starts turning green, the beautiful thing about this is it really stays with an uptrend or a downtrend. So it gives you plenty of time to do an assessment of the market. This is just another tool. You can use this ever how you want to. It's more, for me, it's more of a bottom picking, top picking tool, not a momentum. If you want to use it as a momentum, I'm going to show you how to do that. But it has 2 components. First one is the bottom top picking component. So I'm going to show you bottoms and tops. All right, you see how this thing is above the 25 here, and we start to get the breaks. Back up in here, it's tagging plus plus 50 back up in there, and you can see how this thing just continually breaks down. So once it gets up in there and starts flatlining, you're really pushing your luck. I mean, look right here, perfect example, flatlined down below -25, nothing but higher. What was that? That was 75% move in the stock, flatlined up here at about 50, and then started breaking back down again. Just do your own analysis on how you want to use this model. It has several components built in. If you want to use it as a momentum tool, The strongest signals are when this is green and then the white is above the yellow. And then you just look for 1 to 2 good trades taking you in that direction. Like right here, it crossed right up in, NVIDIA crossed right up in there. The white got above the yellow. We were green here. So you had nothing but just upward movement. I'm just randomly pulling up stocks, guys, just to show you that this is. So look right here, momentum to the downside. You were red on the long term. When the magenta got below the yellow here, you had nothing but downward movement. Okay, you might have got 1 trade off right there. Now look, we're green here. We're white above yellow. You definitely could have gotten that trade on this big day up right here. Okay, that's how you use this as a momentum tool. Again, it will be up to you. Here we got an NR7 on Disney. So anyway, that's the DE leading indicator on the daily time frame. And if you want to move this up to the price chart, just move it up, drag it up, left click, hold it, move it up, and that's what it looks like right there. If you can see it better, see where it turns green right there, it's already above. So I mean, this was a perfect day. The market went down, the long-term ergodic turned green, we were above. That had you prepped and primed right there for potential up move. I mean, that's almost like having a crystal ball. I don't know what else there is. Well, I know I've spent tens of thousands, well, probably over $50,000 in researching tools and things, and there's nothing any better than this stuff right here. I can tell you with the utmost certainty. I mean, look right here where this thing, it's green, it crosses right there. You still had, you know, a huge up move in Disney to take advantage of in the options market. So yeah, you don't need much more than this. All right, so let's deselect that. And the next one I want to show you is the BA price range trend bar. This is a very short-term, consistent price trend indicator. So let's go ahead and turn it on. It's a trend bar or a color paint bar. So I mean, look at this. Look how quick this thing turns on Disney and kept you in that trade right there. So again, what you're looking for are those changes. The changes from green to red. Look at that right there, that move. Look at where it changed from red to green. So now this bar right here, you're looking for up moves. I mean, if you can't make money with something like this and just focus, again guys, you pick, I've given you several different ways to pull out momentum trades. That's what these indicators are for right here, to identify momentum setups. It's 3 of my best tools for momentum trading. And you get to pick which one you like, because you may have different time frames you like to work in. But if, I mean, you don't have to look at all 3 of these models to have them check DE leading indicators good, check HA cross is good, check. Hey, you just need one of these to focus on, and then get your trades off of the 15-minute and a 1-hour time frame. That's all you need to do. Let's just look at something like GM. Look here where GM turned. Okay, the most recent as from red to green. So I mean, are you telling me you can't find a trade when this thing turns in something like this? Look here where it turned red. It give you plenty of ample time to get at least one good trade off right there. Sometimes they don't work. That's why you have money management rules. Okay, so just focus. All this stuff is designed for you to focus and remove the distractors, turn the TV off. You don't need to know what you need to listen to if you like to listen to folks. are emerging themes. That's what you, but forget about the stock. You want emerging themes. If somebody's good at calling sectors that are about to move, hey, that's where you cue in with this stuff, okay? All right, so now that we have some of this, let's go ahead and start populating our intraday time frames. Let's see, where are we at? All right, so over here, we're gonna go ahead. Now, what I keep completely consistent over on this side is I don't mess around with these indicators here. So I use the HA cross and I'm going to put, this is on the 1 hour, I'm going to put the HA cross over here on the 15-minute, just to show you something. All right, so you see this bar, I have my cursor synchronized. Whenever you set this up, you can go to settings, let's see, yeah, in the general tab, go to synchronize crosshair position and it'll synchronize it across all your charts. All right, so here is where we turn green. And you should be able to see that. You see where I've got my cursor right there. All right, so now let's take a look at some of the setups. All right, so we're green. We stay green this entire move up. So all you need to look at is if you're green over here, this is what I call in a bullish market, green, red, green. So what I'm looking for, as long as this stays green, and this is green over here, I'm looking for this thing to go green, red, green. But you know, you're just buying off of these green, red, green signals. That's it. That's all you're doing. Because you're momentum trading. I mean, look at the. I mean, you're telling me you can't just with a colored code. You can't make money on something like this right here. That's absurd. Look at the moves on NVIDIA here. You can see the daily time frames green. Let's go back here, see where the last green, red, green occurred. Okay, you see it's green here. Here we, a little red, turn green. You get in, you ride that nice move up. Red again. Okay, turns green, another move up. Again, what I'm trying to hold for is I'm taking a position trying to hold for, I'm not getting in and out on red signals. I'll show you how I get out. But I'm just showing you the entries right now. Green, red, green. So we're red here, green again. You get back in if you're not in. I mean, you just keep doing this until the trend turns red up here. That's all you're doing. There's nothing else to it. All right, so let's add some other qualifiers to this right here, just to show you really what I think the highest probability entry technique is. So I'm going to add these two tools right here are very, very nifty bottom picking tools. So this BA standard deviation, this is just a standard deviation graph of how price reacts to a 50 period moving average, and I'm really interested on the 2 standard deviation moves. When it gets 2 standard deviations below the 50 period, you're going to see it right here. Now look on the daily time frame where that is. Can you see that low? This is on the hourly. It's 2 standard deviations away from 50 period moving average. All right, so at that point right there, and see the onset, how it's slapping the floor right there, both of those, that's, for me, that's, take notice. You're probably going to get a trade in. Let's see if we can go back far enough on. Yeah, here we go. All right, so that floor is holding right there. You know, for me, I'm going to show you some trades on how you could probably get into a trade like that. But I mean, you've got green, red, green trades going on like crazy right there. Plenty of opportunities there to play NVIDIA. So let's go back. I just wanted to show you what I call extreme movements and what I look for. So I'm looking for these things to slap the floor. A trend change, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a trend change and then a momentum setup after that. So that's how I use these right here. All right, when this thing is green and this is above that zero line and this is at it or above it, hey, it's all, you know, that's, I'm not really looking at this right here. I'm only looking at it for the extreme moves. I'm looking for it. Hey, if this thing slaps the floor like it did right here and this did not come all the way down, that's a divergence. Hey, I'm thinking we're going to get a snapback rally immediately. That's how I look at that on the short time frame. I want you to focus. That's what these are for. You don't need anything else other than this and to make a lot of money or to become consistent in the market. So just trust me. If you can master how to use these couple of tools right here, you'll be way, way ahead of the game. All right, so let's look at what I set up on the 15-minute. The first thing, well, let me go back. There's one thing I left off up here. I really like this, the BA0 lag moving average. Now I've got it set up as black and with the connected squares. See how that thing will hug price, you know, as it's moving up. You know, that's just a line in the sand right there. Again, puts more context around the move. I always save my study sets if I make any little tweaks to them whatsoever. I hardly ever, but you know, sometimes I do. Let's see. Let's go down to the 15-minute. All right. First thing we're going to add is the daily VWAP. How you set it up for a daily time frame is you go right there and select. It has day, week, month. You want one of these to select it as daily. I change it so it has a different look to it. I deselect the upper and lower bands, so you know, deselect that show plot. Make sure that's deselected there because you don't need those upper and lower bands. All right, so that's what the daily looks like. Now let's look at the weekly. So I've got the weekly a different color, different shape. Show study. All right, so you got you have two VWAPs. The VWAP in conjunction with these color bars is probably the most powerful entry technique you'll have. I mean, for momentum trading, I always want to be buying on the upper side of at least one of these VWAPs, preferably both, and with green bars on the 15-minute time frame. That is, if you just follow that right there, you'll be just fine. Okay? So if I were trading and I entered back here when this market, I'm just trying to give you an example. If I bought in here options, my first thing is to hold till I get 100% profit, or if I get a break below both VWAPs, bars are red, and I take out the most recent swing low. That happened right there. I'm probably just going to come out of this trade. It's not setting up the way I want to. Now, that happened to be the low of the move, but you're going to have some things like that happen like that. So I just want to get in and stay above that. Stay above those VWAPs until I get my profit target. That's all I'm looking for. And there's other variables. I'm not going to give you the entire rules. That's a different session altogether. I'm just trying to show you how to put some context around these trades. The bottom line, I want to be buying on the momentum, the calls above the VWAPs when the price is green. Okay. You can put that. The zero lag moving average on this one if you want to. It's up to you. Sometimes I just look at it. I'm more interested in the VWAPs than I am that moving average. So that's up to you. It's there if you want to use it. Now let me just talk about entry technique number 2. Let's say that you spot an opportunity. Let's see if we can find it back here. Right there. All right, so I'll show you a couple of different examples, but this is one right here where we made a low on the onset trend detector. We didn't make a low here. I'm suspect of a potential divergence, a possible snapback move, which is exactly what happened. What I'm looking for is a rally up, a pull back, and then a subsequent move that takes out that swing high. So here you can see on the 15-minute we have to go down. It went up to that VWAP and came back down, but they could not drive it down below that low right there. As soon as it went back above that VWAP, it turned green. You could have bought in there. You could have had an alert set right above that swing high that alerted you to get in prior to that close. All right, you would have been rewarded immediately. Possibly could hit your profit target on that depending on which time frame duration cycle you chose. But that's the general structure of the entry technique 2. The probe low, we define it objectively with one of our indicators. We move up, move down, we take out a prior swing high, bars are green, it's above the VWAP, it's good to go. Let's see if we can find another example of that. Again, we're just taking random moves here. All right, so let's look at, we just pulled up Altria. All right, so here we have a possible low in Altria. I'm not going to use that because this model here says that we're red. We're not going to do that. Well, here we have another one where we had a low right here, possible snapback, possible end to this. So what I'd be looking for now is a possible green bar on for a couple of different reasons on Coke. All right, so what we want to look for is we have a probe lower here. It registers by slapping the floor on the onset there. This one doesn't go down below the 2 standard deviations, so a possible snapback is about to emerge. We rally up, we pull back. What we're looking for now is a move back above I already have position in Coke, so but I'm going to put an alert in here, profitable position. But we bought a little bit way earlier than this on Coke. But this will be a momentum trade. So if we move back above 46.62, which is above the VWAPs, we'll still be green. Hey, it's worth an entry. Worth buying some calls for. So that's entry technique number 2. When we do put buying, it works in the opposite. Okay, but for call buying, probe, something registers either here or it's below the 2 standard deviation. We go up, we come down. It doesn't take out that low, rallies back up, takes out the swing high. We want to try to go with it. Okay, that's it. Hey, hopefully this video helped you with the indicator package that you bought. There's more. I did give you some more, I think a couple more studies that I didn't go over, but these are the most important. So hopefully you can use them. Hopefully they help you focus. Hopefully they help you become more consistent, which is the most important thing. Not how much money you make when you're starting out, but how consistent you can become, and then money follows. All right, that's all I have. Until next time, it's BA out.